Highground is missing. Yeah, if you guys don't know, as of right now, Highground is supposed to launch in 2 weeks. Also, YouTube Frogs. Anybody watching after the fact? Obviously, original video will be linked at the top of the description. I gotta warn you, I reply to pretty much every chat message, and I talk way too much. And there is TTS on. So you've been warned. Welcome in. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. If you want to stop by stream sometime, second link in the description will be the Twitch stream. First link, Luke Stevens' original video in chat. By the way, if you guys want to go show Luke Stevens some love and drop him a sub or hit YouTube lurk where you watch this video in the background of my video, check it out. All right, here we go. Highground. Let's see what the heck is going on here. Stop by, show Unk some love. Yeah, hey, the hairline, it's not coming back, bro. I need all the love I can get.
So I want to talk about Highguard just really quickly.
Highguard, I said high ground.
Absolutely baffling. Of course, this was revealed at the Game Awards 2025. Jeff Keighley announced it as the last thing of the show, the last announcement before they hand out the Game of the Year award. Historically, this is a spot that's reserved for the most awarded and accomplished developers in the industry. In 2024, it's where they revealed Intergalactic Heretic Prophet, which is Naughty Dog's next game. And whether you love or hate Naughty Dog, they are critically acclaimed and they are well known in the industry. So to see this game, Highguard, revealed in that same spot certainly put a lot of high expectations on it. And when you consider that Jeff also introduced it at the same time as mentioning Titanfall and Apex Legends, it raised the stakes. And maybe this is a hot take, but I think the gameplay they showed off looked pretty good. It looked even fun at times. But I think the overwhelmingly negative reception to the trailer and announcement was paired with its placement within the show, the overhyping of it, and specifically how it was framed as a new breed of shooter, which I just don't really understand. What they showed looks fine or even good at times, but no part of this seems original, at least as far as we can tell. There's speculation that maybe this is a hybrid of like a team-based objective shooter mixed with like MOBA stuff and larger maps that you need mounts for. And all that sounds fine and dandy and could be cool, but they've not done a great job of communicating that. And it's exacerbated by the fact that they've not communicated literally anything since this reveal. On the official Twitter page, you can actually go there and see that it's still slated for January 2026, but they've not posted anything since December 11th of 2025.
Which, like, sometimes games will do this thing where they're like really silent and then they drop something, or they, drop a trailer and don't say anything else. A lot of artists do this too, where they drop a trailer, drop a song, and then like don't say anything until the actual release. Respectfully, my man, you're Highguard. Maybe you were like, oh, everyone hates us right now, maybe we'll just wait. But also, dude, you kind of gotta, not to hit you with the boomer talk here, but pull yourself up by the frickin' bootstraps, buddy. You gotta lock it in, man. You gotta lock it in. You are launching a new IP with a new studio. Drop some snippets. Drop some info about the game. Answer some questions. What are we doing here? What are we doing here, bro? I remember being hyped for this till I learned it was not single player and just another hero shooter. See, I literally, in the chat, all of chat was like, ew, 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 like tweaking out. And I was like, hold on. Let's see what it is. Let's see what it is live, right? And then when they were like, yeah, hero shooter or some shit like that, PvP, I was like, okay, we're out. Yeah, we're out, dude. Because in my head, when they were talking about like, oh yeah, made by the same people who made Apex Legends and Titanfall, I'm like, okay, if this is a story to it, it could actually be really good, because Titanfall 2 story was like, honestly, probably one of my faves. Like, at least in like A tier of like best stories or like my favorite stories in games that I've played, right? So I was like, okay, hold on. Maybe it's like we got an arcade shooter in here. We got a whole new story. We're like doing something new. We're an independent team now. We couldn't do Titanfall 3 because obviously EA has the rights to that. So we made our own game. But the thing is, they didn't do that. They're like, yeah, a hero shooter. Oh, great. Great. Just what everybody was looking for. A hero shooter. Right. That's not an oversaturated market. There hasn't been a bunch of games like that have failed recently. Cool. I'm going to be honest, though. A lot of the abilities just shown do actually look like Val ripoffs. LOL, the ice wall, the fire thingy, and the Reyna looking character. I legit didn't pick up on that during the Game Awards. LMAFAO. Yeah, literally. Kilo, here we go, baby. Let him know, twin. We need money to be able to go to Turkey to get that hairline transplant. Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you. College football was really silent. Shit's fired. 10 out of 10 game. Yeah, I mean, that's another thing is like, it's EA. So like they can pump a ton of money into it after the fact. And it's also a sports game that they knew was going to sell like hotcakes. Yeah, dude, I've been watching a little bit, Kilo. Yeah, it's looking like it's been a good game. Concord 2. And that's the thing is people are already calling this Concord. And I wouldn't go that far because, you know, it's not, they aren't putting a price tag on it and all of that stuff, but it's not looking good, especially with them not doing any sort of hype for this game, because they could, if they come out and they're like, hey, here's the new stuff we're doing in Highguard, or like, we noticed feedback, do some media trained stuff here and be like, we noticed some feedback that this is just another hero shooter. Here's how we are different. Look at the mounts in this game that you'll be able to buy cosmetics for and earn some through gameplay. You know, that kind of shit. Or like even, and it would not be a good PR move, but even being like, here's what you can expect in our battle pass, and really show off some cool stuff that you're doing. Because obviously this game's gonna have a battle pass. It's a free-to-play game. They have to monetize it in some way.
Since the reveal, they've gone radio silent, which initially you might excuse because it was right into the holidays and Christmas. Still, you're launching like a month later. You should probably have something planned, or like scheduled posts or something. But no, there's just nothing. And then January 1st came around. People went back into the office the days following, and still
Man, I
nothing.
wish these dudes would catch the ball. Lol. I need offensive movement from both teams.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
They
bro.
don't want to see a brother win.
The Texans versus the Steelers is not the game for ball movement or offense. Offense of any kind. Yeah, I like their Twitter name, Highguard. Launching January 26th, 2026. Really rolls off the tongue.
And now it's January 12th when I'm filming this. The game launches 2 weeks from now, 14 days away, and there's still no update whatsoever. Now, as far as I'm concerned, there's a few possible explanations for this. On the one hand, they're just gonna announce that the game is canceled. I think that's extremely unlikely. The game is basically done. I don't know why they would do that. Two, the other option is that they've just decided to go with like a guerrilla marketing approach where the developers go into chat rooms or they post on social media their experience, and it's more of a personal way of marketing games. A lot of indie developers have started doing that, where instead of partnering with like a big marketing agency, they go out and sort of guerrilla market it themselves, with developers doing a lot of the heavy lifting. I thought maybe that's what they're doing here, especially because the corporate marketing for a game like Concord, for example, went so badly. And I will say, I looked up the personal Instagram and Twitter accounts of about a dozen to 2 dozen different employees working on Highguard, and I can say that they have said nothing about the game. I'm not going to share their names here because many of them have expressed that they were harassed and like got targeted with some pretty horrifying messages after the reveal, which, I mean, like, come on, guys. It's a video game. You don't have to like the video game, but
it's a free-to-play video game, by the way. By the way, they aren't even like, yeah, give us $70 for this. It's a free-to-play game. Just don't play the game. Go back to Fortnite and your Call of Duty Warzone and shut the fuck up, man. Shut the fuck up. Go back to your Overwatch game, okay? I know it's hard getting to silver, okay? You got to lock it in. And maybe if you watched some coaching videos on YouTube, instead of harassing workers, you would actually be able to get into silver, okay? F4M? Oh, I'm M. By the way, play our game. It's a Valorant ripoff coming out January 26th. I honestly think they're probably trying to... well, actually, I can't really tell from the gameplay. What are they promoting? On Omegle? Yeah, I think maybe he means like... I don't know, going to like a content creator and just talking about it, or maybe even like a Twitter space, you know? Yo, what's up, Tom? To be honest, it's F2P, so it couldn't hurt to try out, but I don't see it going well. Yeah. And before they sponsor like 12 streamers to play it. Yeah. Again, like he said, guerrilla marketing. I feel like guerrilla marketing is like literally being boots on the ground, using the account to tweet about the game and talk about it and shit, right? Does that that makes more sense to me? Is if they're like going like guerrilla marketing, they should be putting out tweets and talking about things. Also, going back like to the name on Twitter, right? Why are they saying Highguard launching January 26, 2026 if they aren't doing anything on Twitter for people to see the name of their account? What is the point of that? What is even the point of that? If somebody's going to your profile, they're already going to look at your bio and it's going to say it there. What's the point of even putting that in there? We've gotten 3 turnovers and 0 points out of them. Yeah, it's really Chargers versus Patriots part 2, huh? Just kidding. Hey, tell him you'll play this game 6 hours for $200. Yo, wait, actually, hold on. You might be onto something, Josh.
Going after developers because you thought it looked mid, like, what are we doing? It's insane. So I'm not going to share their
what's
names
up,
or anything,
Tass?
but I will say that they've posted on social media. They've been active. They've been talking about other games that they're playing right now, but nothing about Highguard whatsoever. It's just radio silence. So that's option number 2. Dismissed and probably not that likely. The third option is that they're going the No Man's Sky route of things. They're choosing to let the game speak for itself, and they're not gonna try to market it in any sort of corporate way with trailers, with like character previews, or with beta tests or anything like that. And they're basically gonna go the route of Apex Legends and just drop it on January 26th and hope that people play it and like it. And honestly,
are they going to be paying $1 million to Ninja to play it? Like, what are we doing here? Don't do Ninja. Burnt Peanut. Pay Burnt Peanut $1 million to play it for one stream. Tell him, hey, 8 hours, we'll give you $1 million to deal with your chat harassing you and your average viewers tanking. Actually, I don't think, unless the game is absolutely ass, I don't think it would tank viewership because people would be like interested and be like, oh, okay, like what is this game about? Is it actually good? Does my content creator actually like it? You know, it's more than I can make most days doing gig work for 8 hours. Yes, sir. Let me in there. Come on, Highguard, pay me. I'll even get your the name of your game right. I won't call it High Ground. I won't be Obi-Wan Kenobi in this bitch. Pay me $500 and I'm in.
Kind of get it. Like right now, the odds of the game popping off and having a lot of success are fairly low. I hate to be that guy, but it's just come on, like not that likely. So
I mean, if Splitgate 2 can get 25,000 players on their relaunch, there's a chance this shit could get at least like 50,000. I think people will play it. I think people will play it to see if it's as bad as everyone has said online. I think high key, the fact that people were shitting on it so much and it's a free game might actually be good because it will cause more people to be like, okay, let me see. Let me see what's going on here. Let me check this out. Unless the game's ass, Peanut will make some shit funny. Yeah, that too. If they actually got Burnt Peanut to do it. Nah, they'll probably end up paying like Tim the Tap Man, which like respect to Tim the Tap Man. He'll still make it interesting, but I feel like Burnt Peanut would actually be the oh my god, I just tried to put my chair down a little. I almost freaking died. I feel like Burnt Peanut would be the layup though. No matter how much money you need, hey dude, yeah, we'll make it back in microtransactions. Play it, please. Please, yeah, whatever. $500,000 for a stream. Meat Canyon severely made fun of a guy with autism showing off his hyperfixation. I'm kind of upset, man. What the fuck? No, Meat Canyon. What the hell, man? You're supposed to be our glorious king. It will be Ludwig, though. Oh, I love Ludwig, but yeah, I wouldn't pay Ludwig to play this game. Ludwig would not be the one that I would try and pay. Shroud, we heard you liked Arc Raiders so much. Yeah, dude. Hey, Shroud. Yeah, instead of paying Burnt Peanut, they'll be like, hey, Shroud, you launched a shitty game. Play our shitty game. We'll pay you. Nothing wrong with Ludwig, but he ain't it for this one. Yeah, dude, literally.
If they were to spend millions on marketing, it's probably just burning cash in a fire. So
True.
Maybe going more of a shadow drop route, even though it's already been announced, but you get what I mean. Maybe going that route is just a cheaper and more budget conscientious option, more of a responsible option. I would get that. And just to be frank, I think traditional marketing is going to be really hard when it comes to this game, especially because the current discourse around it is so negative. I think you could eventually dig yourself out of the hole if you showed a lot of really impressive stuff. I mean, even now, it's shocking to say, but there's actually some positive buzz about Marathon, for example, because they went away, worked on the game, listened to the feedback, and came.
Yeah, there is a lot of positive. Well, actually, maybe not particularly positive, but fanboys of Marathon that I learned very quickly actually will die for this game. They'll say, this is actually going to be the greatest extraction shooter you've ever seen. Why are you being negative about this? Why are you being negative about this, buddy? You see the Ravens interviewed Stefanski? They're going to blow that team up if they make that decision. Yeah, dude, I did see that shit. Oh my God. They should hire Robert Saleh. They should say, however much money you want, buddy, please.
Back with improvements that made the game look way better. And so now people are actually like, oh, okay, I could actually see the like checking this out. I'm interested. And they could get there with Highguard, but there's just not enough time. You know, they got 2 weeks and Marathon disappeared for months before coming back with new updates. So I'm not.
But also, to be fair to Highguard, Marathon did have an open play test and people were like, this shit is ass. Highguard, they don't even have that, which again, you know, it does go back to the company of like, oh yeah, we're going to reveal this at the Game Awards and launch it as soon as possible. Like right after, or not as soon as possible. They could have been like, it's available tonight, but like launch it pretty quickly after. I feel like they should have given themselves a little buffer time there. Like been like, oh, we're launching in March, you know? Maybe they weren't trying, maybe there was other releases coming out around there that are going to be big. When are they launching Marathon? Maybe they were worried about that. I don't know, but also, dude, what the fuck?
Sure if they're going to be able to really reclaim that positive energy, you know. I just don't see it. So I think the most likely explanation is that they're just going radio silent and they're going to drop it on the 26th and hope that people like it and play it and connect with it. But even while I can understand that strategy, it's just going to be incredibly difficult to climb this mountain. As of right now, the Highguard official Twitter account or X account has 6,200 followers. It's gone up by a couple hundred in the last couple of weeks, but it's right around 6,200. Okay, I wanted to see though if the interest in Highguard is at the same level as another game that it's been compared to a lot, which is of course Concord. And Concord actually to this day still has 10,000 followers on Twitter and X. So like the interest there at least seems higher. And I thought maybe that's just because people were interested in like the crapshoot of Concord and it was like such a dumpster fire that people just wanted to see what was going on with it, so they followed it. But Vicati in my Discord server for Luke Stevens Live members on YouTube and Twitch subs, he went and did some digging on the Wayback Machine and actually found this. Missed the stream today, so I'm currently watching the VOD for it, so I don't know if this was discussed further on stream, but I was able to find an August 24th, 2024 snapshot of Concord's Twitter account, where they in fact had more followers just after release than they do now. Here's the screenshot. And if we go to this, you can actually see that even back then on August 24th, as you can see right here, August 24th.
The game was so ass, it lost the fucking account followers. That's insane. Concord is still up, right? Or did they can that shit already? Probably won't play Marathon just because they stole that artist's work. I didn't even know about that. I probably won't play Marathon just because it looks like a money grab for Sony and Bungie, and I'd rather just play Arc Raiders, which is at least somewhat a unique story instead of, yeah, what if we did like the Outer Worlds? What if we had like pretty much the exact same setup to the Outer Worlds and also charged $40? They took the servers down. I'm pretty sure that's crazy. That's actually insane.
24th, they actually had 11.5 thousand followers. And just as a reminder, that was the day after the game launched. So the game launched on August 23rd, and then they captured that screenshot the day after. So we're in the same time period.
Oh, wait, I think that was some of the lore there. Sony to pull from sale and refund players, taking the servers offline. Oh my God. It launched at the end of August, and by September, they refunded players. Oh, Sony, you gotta get some like Young Bucks in there or something to make you a free live service game if you're trying to get into this live service pie. Because if Marathon, I feel like if Marathon doesn't do at least somewhat similar numbers, like if they don't sell like 5 million copies in the first couple of months, and it doesn't have a live community, yeah, if it doesn't have like somewhat similar numbers to Arc Raiders, which Arc Raiders I think sold something like crazy, like 9 million copies or some shit like that, but it's gonna be like another thing. I feel like Marathon, even if it's as good as people are saying it is or it's going to be, I just don't really see in the market right now why someone would buy. Like, think about this: why would somebody buy Marathon over Arc Raiders? Why would they put more time into that game than Arc Raiders? Or even like Escape from Tarkov. Why would somebody be swayed away from Escape from Tarkov to Marathon? Like the whole thing with Arc Raiders, and one of the arguments I saw a lot with Marathon was, and sorry, we're getting off topic from this video itself, but the whole argument was like, oh, Arc Raiders is like more casual friendly and Escape from Tarkov is more hardcore. So Marathon's going to exist right in the middle. It's going to be perfect for the people looking for that. who's looking for that exactly? Like, is there like hundreds of thousands of people that want to play that will pay $40 for that? Because I feel like if you're already playing Escape from Tarkov and you go, oh, this is a little too hardcore for me, I want to play Arc Raiders. You'll play Arc Raiders. And if you're playing Arc Raiders and you're like, I want a more upgraded, more like serious extraction shooter, you're just gonna go to Escape from Tarkov, right? And you know, anybody who wants a more normie extraction shooter is just going to go to Arc Raiders. So like, where in the market is this game going to be successful? And you know, I've been very, very harsh on Marathon. Again, I hope I'm wrong. I've said it a bunch of times, but I hope for the people that are a fan of that game so far and a fan of Bungie and Sony that it's actually good. But I just don't really understand where, like, what gap in the market is that filling in any way, and who are they going to take away from Escape from Tarkov and Arc Raiders and other extraction shooters? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, does that make sense? Sony wants a live service game, just make a Bloodborne or Ghosts MMO or some shit. Yeah, actually, bro, Bloodborne, like, MMO would probably print them money if it was, like, in the same world. Now, I don't know if they could ever talk From Software into doing that. But do they technically own the license for Bloodborne? I mean, they could print, like, if they took the money they put into fucking Marathon and made a remaster of Bloodborne, which would be diabolical, by the way, because it came out, you know, what, like 10 and a half years ago? But if they did that, it would probably end up making them, if Marathon isn't a complete success, like they're hoping for, it would probably, with a PC port, probably make them more money than they're going to make with Marathon. That might be a crazy take, but yeah. Bungie can barely handle D2, so I'm not holding out for Marathon given their track record. Exactly, Autumn. Welcome in, by the way, Autumn. Thank you for the 3 stream freak. Appreciate you. There's actually a fun video I watched about how a guy managed to get the platinum trophy for Concord. Really? I mean, from what I watched of the game, you couldn't even get in games half the time because they broke shit. Oh, and Concord? Yeah, they took the servers down in less than a month or something, maybe 6 weeks. That's insane. I mean, if Sony didn't fuck up with Helldivers 2 with the account bullshit, it would probably still be super popular. Yeah, I agree. I mean, Helldivers 2 is still pretty, like, I think they have their usual, like, 24-hour peak is, like, 20,000 people. If they didn't fuck up with the accounts, yeah, it'd probably still be around, like, 50,000. And I think, like, it's seemingly, like, from what I've seen on socials, new people are trying out Helldivers. And I think Helldivers was able to get so big because they had new, somewhat unique lore that you actually were interested in. Player versus enemy combat. Like, they were filling a market that was there that no one knew it was a market to fill. Where with Marathon, it's like, okay, what are you filling? What is this supposed to be? Like, are you trying to cut into other pieces of the pie? Which is fine, but your game has to be really good to cut into someone else's market. You know what I'm saying? I won't get back into it, but it takes up so much room on my PC. Gotta have room for my 1800 Skyrim mods. No, that's real as hell. That's real as hell. All right, sorry, let's continue here.
And then they captured that screenshot the day after. So we're in the same time period, and Concord literally had double the follower counts on X that Highguard does. Like, people didn't care about Concord, but like, I don't know what words you have to use for the level of don't care for Highguard, because it's half of the level of followers that Concord even had, which is insane. And listen, this is always tricky to talk about for me because there's a lot of like
but also, to be fair to Highguard, there is Sony fanboys out there. And just to say, like, I've been shitting on Sony. Sony in my mind is still like good for customers and like overall good at making games with their studios and shit. It's still like A tier for me. Like Xbox at this point is probably like C tier. Maybe if I think about it more, I might say they're D or B, depending on like really thinking about it. But right now, off the top of my head, I'd say they're like C. You know, Sony's A. S is like Sandfall, Larian, like those kind of studios, indie devs, that kind of thing. Indie devs that I really like. Sony's A. I have a lot of belief in Sony still. I mean, I literally bought a fucking PlayStation 5 the other day for their exclusives, and also just it's Sony hardware. But I do think them seemingly trying to make Concord and then also Marathon to try and get to a live service market is a little, I don't know, a little sus. Like, I know, again, shareholders, obviously you have to, do what makes them happy. And if you can make a game that prints money, like obviously like a Fortnite or even Apex Legends, or I'm trying to think of, Arc Raiders, those kind of, if you can get one of those on your platform, it is going to be incredible for you. They probably saw how well Helldivers 2 went, and were like, yes, if we can do this. And like you guys are saying, like, they did learn from the account thing and fixed it eventually. And, I'm sure that was a learning curve for them, and they know not to do that ever again. But yeah, dude, I don't know. Sony's still a good company. Unfortunately, they're ran by humans in corporate payouts, so they're bound to make mistakes. Yeah, again, shareholders. Trying to chase what's best for shareholders will always eventually, I feel like, lead you to blunders unless you are really, really particular, which you can't really do, at least from what we've seen with shareholders, because they're like, money, 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 money. Come on, get us more money. Get us more money.
Talented people working on these games, and nobody should ever deny that. It's why I get so pissed when I hear that people are like harassing the developers working on this.
Yeah.
The reason I talk about this stuff is, for one, because it's interesting how games like this that immediately fail the gut check for gamers like you and me, how do they get greenlit and worked on for years and get like tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars spent on them? I just don't understand how that happens. Like, they could bring in so many people who would look at this and just be like, yeah, I don't think the odds of this working are super high, man. I just don't see it. And yet they still get greenlit, and then this type of thing happens and they act surprised. I just find it fascinating as like an artifact of our industry, right? So I like talking about it, and it's an interesting story, and it's very dramatic and all that. But it's kind of heartbreaking that so many people will spend years of their lives working on something like this that just never stood a chance. But that's why I think it's important to talk about it, because it's not the devs' fault, in my opinion, that this has gone the way it has. This is across the board, it seems to be managerial screw-ups and broader, like, executive level decisions that have led to this landing the way that it has. I think the reason that the discourse around Highguard is so negative is specifically because of how it was revealed. I think if it was revealed earlier in the show or in the middle of the show, none of this would be happening.
Yes.
It would launch on the 26th. There would be like,
I think there would be like probably like 40% of the negativity that we have right now about this game. Because I was watching somebody, and it might have been Luke Stevens, or maybe it was like Mug Thief or somebody that was talking about it, and they were like, there was literally other games like Highguard announced that are not getting the same scrutiny that Highguard has gotten, which is true. I think Jeff, maybe there was supposed to be another announcement, and he had to call an audible here and was like, I like this game. Yeah, let's throw it in there. Or maybe he was just straight up like, yeah, I really believe in this because it's made by the Titanfall people. I don't know, dude. I don't know what it was. It's unfortunate. Dream job is to be that one girl in the office that goes, that ain't it, bud. Like, this shit looks so cool to me. Then it was a hero shooter. I was hoping for Fantasy Halo, not this. Absolutely. The Old Republic should have been the last reveal. Yeah, I think, who is it? The Act Man said that shit. Was like, Fate of the Old Republic would have been one of the most hype, if not the most hyped, final reveals of all time for the Game Awards. And I agree, bro. The fact that was super early. That's why I was like dumbfounded. The fact it was super early into the show was insane to me.
Hardly anybody aware of it, but if the game launched and was really good, it would speak for itself, word of mouth would travel, and then it would find success. But instead, they had to frame it as like the next big thing, a new breed of shooter. And then they get surprised when the feedback is negative and people are like, yeah, it doesn't feel like the next generation of, it just looks like a shooter. It just looks like a shooter. Like, yes, it's coming from Titanfall devs and Apex Legends devs. That's cool, but it's not Titanfall. So I feel kind of let down a little bit. And I honestly just hope that that's the lesson from this game and Concord and everything else, is that you can have a lot of amazing devs working on something that are very talented and know what they're doing. Obviously, you have to know what you're doing to make a video game, period. But a game that seems to be pretty polished, it takes a lot of talent. The point is that, like, this as a concept was never, in my opinion, going to pop off. Like, I just don't see how this concept in 2026 was going to justify the investment. I just don't see it. And that's why it's fascinating to me, because I feel like the only way that this gets greenlit is if executives are kind of out of touch and think that they can just try this formula and hopefully it works. And if it does, we get that live service money, I don't know. More than anything, I just find this absolutely crazy that We are 2 weeks away from launch. They are still radio silent. It has now been over a month since they said anything about the game, and there's just nothing. There's just nothing. We don't know what's happening. We don't know if they're delaying it. There's people that think the game's been canceled, which is never a good thing when your game launches in 2 weeks and people are like, is it canceled yet? Like, it's not a great thing to have going on with your game. But I think just, again, it's going to be fascinating to see how this goes over the next couple of weeks. I personally expect a lot of people will play it out of curiosity. I know I'm going to. And guess what? If the game is really, really good, it is free to play, and there's a lot of curious people that are going to give it a shot. It could actually be set up to pop off all of a sudden, and maybe it's going to be one of the craziest like comeback stories of 2026, where it's like, yeah, remember when we all thought Highguard sucked? Wow, were we wrong? I hope that that's what happens. I hope that the game is so good and unique and novel that it does just speak for itself, because I think that story would be even more
Crossing on my fingers,
than
man.
The current story that seems to be being written, which is just that this is another corporate miscalculation and misallocation of millions of dollars that's going to lead to a game flopping and losing tons of money and developers getting screwed over in the process. It's just going to be one of the two. It's going to be one of the two. Either the very predictable story of live service mismanaged games, or a comeback story for the ages. I guess time will tell. But you know what?
Dude. Oh, sorry.
I want to know if you are going to be trying Highguard when it launches.
Call to action. Nice, Luke.
Are you going to try downloading it? I mean, it's free. You might as well.
Chat, we will in fact be playing this. End of January is a little, not stacked, but pretty good overall. This is coming out the 26th, and before that is the Xbox Direct, which is where hopefully we'll hear more about Fable, which should be good. Yeah, I think this is the end of this video. Let's see what the comments have to say. Also, Mariner, what's up, bro? Making a dating profile, and I've realized I have no pictures of me that aren't dumb or I'm covered in grease and diesel fuel. Happens to the best of us. Free to play is right in my budget. Exactly, dude. Right in there for me too. Is it on Steam or is it coming to console as well, by the way? I didn't even think about that or ask at any point. The reveal was so forgettable that even the devs forgot they even made a game. If this game lasts longer than a week, it already beat Concord. In a world full of hero shooters, one studio, once renowned, puts out another hero shooter. That Concord 2.0 allegation is looking more and more real. I'm going to be honest with you guys. The Concord comp, again, just like isn't at all doing it for me, right? I think if you compared this to like some other free-to-play games that flop, that would make sense. But the Concord comparison, I think the only things that correlate is Hero Shooter and Game Awards. But Concord was, what, $40 at launch? It had millions and millions of dollars dumped into it. It had big, a big publisher, obviously Sony, backing it. And this doesn't have any of that. It's free to play. It's a new I don't know if they're indie. I don't know if this is under a big publisher, but yeah, and it could be good. We don't know. And they didn't try and sell us on some stupid fucking story that doesn't actually matter to the game like Concord did as well, where they were trying to set it up like to make people be like, "Oh, what's this?" So I don't know, dude. I'm hopeful. I'm definitely going to try it, and hopefully it's good, and hopefully they have a whole marketing campaign for after it comes out, because another thing you see with these free-to-play games is on launch, they'll jump up to like 80, 100,000, 120,000 players first day, and then immediately nosedive and be at like maybe 1,000, maybe 5,000 daily if they're lucky. So I hope that they have a good replayable loop here and something to keep you hooked in, instead of just being like, well, why don't I just play Valorant? Why don't I just play Overwatch? Why don't I just play like literally any other game? Is there anything unique about this? I also think, and I've said this with Splitgate, I feel like if there was a story mode in these games, and maybe this is just me, as a sword and spell gamer, really talking about my own preference, but if there was even like a 4-hour story campaign where you got to know these characters, you got to know the lore of the world, and it was really well done, then it might do better. Because like, how hard is it if you're already dumping millions of dollars into a game to create for a hero shooter or an arcade shooter? How difficult really is it to give players like a 4-hour campaign? Is it really that 3 hours? Like, give them something that makes them connect more with these characters, because that'll keep them involved. I don't know, just a thought I've been having recently, especially with Splitgate, and then being like, oh, we're trying everything we can, guys. Like, don't listen to the player count. Like, we're doing everything we can. We're listening to player feedback. We're trying to implement new things. So, yeah. We won 300 Friday night, and we were still, like, 1,100 in the hole after the wreck. Plus, White Boy is sore. Mariner. Hey. Guess it was just one of those, I was going to say days, but weeks. It's okay, King. I believe you'll bounce back. That's true. I feel like Concord would have been more popular if they didn't charge 40 for it. Though Overwatch was like 60 at launch. So, yeah, but also like, I'm trying to think. What other hero shooters like Overwatch were really popular at the time? Or like had been really popular? Team Fortress too? Let me Google this. Let's let Google AI burn down a village real quick. What other hero shooters came out before Overwatch 1? Was there a lot? Team Fortress 2, Section 8, Super Monday Night Combat. Have you guys heard of any of these? I haven't. Oh, they both launched. Team Fortress 2, Section 8, Plants vs. Zombie Garden Warfare. There you go. Battleborn, yeah, came out around the same time, so it wasn't as popular at the time, you know. So like, and Overwatch, from what I understand, really like changed a lot in the market, and they did win Game of the Year. Fuck Rogers, what did he do? What did he do? Hold on, I gotta hit a refresh here on my feed. Oh my god, bro. Oh my god, turnover. Was that like a pick six, a fumble six? Why are all the defensive players dapping each other up? Damn, 5 is short as hell. Aaron Rodgers looks pissed off. Big Boy got the ball. Oh, here's the replay. Rankins? No way they let Big Boy score from the fucking 35. Oh. Well, to be fair to Aaron Rodgers, it looks like they got a total of... Looks like Aaron Rodgers got about 2 seconds of drop back time there. I'm going to be honest with you all. I blame, what's his name, the offensive coordinator. For all of the Steelers' woes, that's who I blame. What's that guy's name? He was the coach for the the Falcons. Yeah, fuck that. Arthur Smith? Right? Is that who it was? Anyways. Hey, Steelers still got a little time. What's up, Iron King? I know you're feeling good right now. You have Concord. I had Battleborn. We are not the same, legit. Yeah, exactly, bro. Battleborn. What else? Matt Ryan? No, that's the quarterback. Matt Ryan. Love to see the man fail. I respect it. D'Amico Ryans sacked Aaron Rodgers, D'Amico Ryans is the coach of the fucking Texans, by the way, in 2008. That's crazy. Damn, Aaron Rodgers is old as hell. I miss Matt Ryan. Yeah, me too, low-key. He was one of those quarterbacks where it was, like, fun to root for, you know? Shout out Kyle Shanahan, getting him... Oh, I thought he had Firemuth. Shout out Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, and fucking Matt LaFleur helping him get an MVP. D'Amico Ryans is younger than Aaron Rodgers? What the fuck? I didn't realize that, bro. But that makes sense, yeah. Because I knew D'Amico wasn't anywhere near 50. Damn, does that mean he was the fucking 49ers defensive coordinator when he was like 38, 39? It's crazy. Dude, Baker Mayfield, I fucking love that guy. It might be 4th down territory, bro. Okay. Chat, do we want... Actually, let's do the Cyberpunk one because it's longer.
In 2000...
All right, chat. AVV Gaming, one of our faves, bro. One of our apps... What? Wait, what is this? What is this, Josh? What are you having me look at here?
I knew that shit was gonna happen. I knew that was sure was gonna happen. Okay, that's not what I was saying. I knew that. Now I forget what I was gonna actually say though. I didn't say that, guys. Now I actually forget what I was gonna say, but it made sense in my head. It wasn't the S word. It wasn't the S word. I knew that. What was it gonna be? It was something. I promise, bro. I swear. What I was gonna say, it made. I never say the S word like that. It's not it. It's like when you say, "Oh, look, I only need 750." It's like when you top.
Dude, little Timmy just got the iPad ripped away for a week, bro. I told you not to be watching those content creators that cuss. I told you. I swear he's never done it before. I swear. Yeah, dude, little Timmy's getting the belt tonight, bro. That's what you get for listening to those swears. Run it back. I ain't here. I got you, twin.
I knew that shit was gonna happen. I knew that was sure was gonna happen.
And then he tries to defend it. That's crazy. He's like, no, I wasn't gonna say that, guy. I mean, I totally forget. I knew that sure was gonna happen. Ruh-roh. My hero. Chat, oh my god. You know, nobody remembers except for Skippy, but I used to not swear on stream because I worked at a church. And then when I got out of working at the church and it was like COVID, I was like, yeah, guys, listen, we're doing a little bit of a change. I'm going to start saying swear words now. And with that said, fuck. I didn't say it like that. I was like, so yeah, whatever. Fuck it. Look, it's Mr. I complained about shockwaves and got them removed because I'm a baby, and now he's bitching about crash pads. Well, I don't think he'd say that B word right there. He wouldn't say that. He would. I was bitching about. I mean, bushing about around here, guys. Chat, I'm saying swears now. So with that being said, darn. I used to not swear, but that's because I used to be Mormon. So yeah, dude, somewhat similar. I mean, you were way more in than me. Mormon, way deeper in than me. Listen, chat, we will be saying fuck and maybe shit on this channel now. If that upsets you, I understand, but I feel as a 14-year-old, it's my God-given right to curse. Mariner, I was 19. So... my mom taught me how to swear by watching Colts Pats games. That's fair. The same year that picture was taken, I'm 19 right now, bro. Yeah, you've been letting that F word rip for the last 5 years, bro. Julian! What's up, big dog? Oh my god, it gets worse. Yeah, Josh, I think it was after that picture was taken. Also, I might have capped. I might have been 18 in that photo. I'm not sure. Or almost 19. What are we doing tonight, homie? We're doing some reacts. And then I might have to beat JT's ass on college football. But we're definitely playing until dawn.